Yeah, gang, we back. So, a lot of people are always complaining about cannabis these days. Oh, it smells bad. Oh, it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna do this. It's gonna do that. Why do you use cannabis? They don't see any medicinal value in it because it's been registered as a Schedule One narcotic, and we have learned in part one. For those who didn't tap into part one, tap in with part one about Harry Anslinger and why he did that with no scientific evidence and actually going against the scientific evidence of the community with people like LaGuardia Fiorello's 5-year cannabis study, which completely contradicted everything Harry Anslinger was saying. And he actually wanted them to completely decriminalize, if not just legalize, cannabis. But he was cool with it just being completely decriminalized, saying that it was having very mild effects. It may even be having some positive effects on people. So that was really interesting. Harry Anslinger didn't like that, dismissed the report as being unscientific. There were other scientists in the community who stood up against him. He told them they were crazy as well. And I think that's very sad when you can have these agendas get in the way of what's best for the public good, what's best for the public safety, what's best for public health, what's best just for people as people. Some people use cannabis just from a recreational perspective. The proverbial passing the peace pipe that they say the Indians used to do, that the Indians still do. So that proverbial passing of the peace pipe, that's a real thing, that can actually bring on fellowship. And speaking of fellowship, how long have people been using cannabis to fellowship? We hear about things about the Ethiopic church. The Ethiopic church. We hear about we hear all these stories about cannabis and what it's done for the community. How long have people actually been using cannabis? You know what I'm saying? How long have people actually been using cannabis to enjoy life? It may be a lot longer than we're being led to believe. And I think that we have to really take a serious look at what the reasons for that could be, man. We're seeing a lot of the hate that went around to different organizations. We're seeing a lot of problems that happen. So, starting off slow, forgive me, gang. Yeah, that was it. We gotta really do a deep dive into how long this has been going on in the church. I think we'd be actually really surprised at some of the things we may find out. How long has people been using cannabis? How long? How long have we been ingesting cannabis? How long have we been using cannabis? Is cannabis something that we use for just recreation? Is there a spiritual component to this, if there's a spiritual component to it, have people discovered that already? Have people been talking about that for a long time? The answer to all those things is yes. And let's start with this lady, Sula Bennett, or Sarah Benetoa, also known as Sula Bennett, Sulabenet. According to her Wikipedia page, Sula Bennett was a Polish anthropologist of the 20th century who studied Polish and Judaic customs and traditions. So she studied what went on in the olden days, and some of her findings are really, really remarkable. But I'll just start off with her Wikipedia page, and we'll build from there. And I'm not saying everything is 1,000% accurate on Wikipedia. We'll use other corroborating sources, but I think this is a good place to start to kind of gear where I'm trying to take the conversation today. Yesterday we definitely did more of the legal side, and we may if we have time, cover some of the legal stuff today. But I want to look at more of the spiritual side of cannabis today. So born in Warsaw, then part of the Russian Empire, Bennett was fascinated with Polish peasant culture from her early youth. The interest eventually led her to enroll as a student of literature and philosophy in the Faculty of Humanities in the University of Warsaw. Graduating with a degree in anthropology in 1935. She then attended graduate school at Columbia University, city of New York, NYC, shouts to her, where she received her doctorate in 1944. So this is not a lady that's gonna. So when we get to what she does, what she's discovered, understand that this is a woman who, graduated from the University of Warsaw in Warsaw, Poland, with a degree in anthropology. Anthropology, for those that don't know, that's the scientific study of humanity, with concern with human behavior, human biology, cultures, society, and linguistics or languages in both the past and present, including past human species. Social anthropology studies patterns of behavior, while cultural anthropology studies cultural trends. So she studies culture and human behavior and what humans have done over time and why. Then after that, she got her doctorate at Columbia University. Also at that time, she was first made known at a seminar in Warsaw, her theory that cannabis in the Bible is actually hemp. That's right, cannabis, Calamus. When you see that word in the Bible, she proposes that that's actually the cannabis plant. Bennett died in New York in 1982. Now people gonna be like, what the fuck you talking about? Ain't no weed in the Bible. This lady proposes that there's weed being used all throughout the Bible. And if your pastor never told you that, your pastor is lying to you. That this, if they've never even tried to present you this possible theory, then they're lying to you, because they're not giving you all the information. They're not allowing you to make a completely aware choice with all of the information at your disposal. If you don't have all the information at your disposal, how can you make any type of informed decision? I don't think you can. I don't think you can at all. I don't think you can ever make an informed decision if you don't have all the information that you need. So I think this is going to be a very fun episode. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to jump into some of this amazing information. But before we go though, let me just give you guys this. Actually, no, I'm sorry, gang. I need the spark. This is 420. We're going to do this right. I'm gonna let the scammer up. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna get into it, and y'all gonna have your minds blown. Let's get there. Let's go.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, gang, we back. So, a lot of people are always complaining about cannabis these days. Oh, it smells bad. Oh, it's gonna hurt you. It's gonna do this. It's gonna do that. Why do you use cannabis? They don't see any medicinal value in it because it's been registered as a Schedule 1 narcotic. And we have learned in part 1, for those who didn't tap into part 1, tap in with part 1 about Harry Anslinger and why he did that with no scientific evidence and actually going against the scientific evidence of the community with people like LaGuardia Fiorello's 5-year cannabis study, which completely contradicted everything Harry Anslinger was saying, and he actually wanted them to completely decriminalize, if not just legalize, cannabis. So, but he was cool with it just being completely decriminalized, saying that it was having very mild effects. It may even be having some positive effects on people. So that was really interesting. Harry Anslinger didn't like that, dismissed the report as being unscientific. There were other scientists in the community who stood up against him. He told them they were crazy as well. And I think that's very sad when you can have these agendas get in the way of what's best for the public good, what's best for the public safety, what's best for public health, what's best just for people as people. Some people use cannabis just from a recreational perspective, the proverbial passing the peace pipe that they say the Indians used to do, that the Indians still do. So that proverbial passing of the peace pipe, that's a real thing, that can actually bring on fellowship. And speaking of fellowship, how long have people been using cannabis to fellowship? We hear about things about the Ethiopic church. The Ethiopic church. We hear about we hear all these stories about cannabis and what it's done for the community. How long have people actually been using cannabis? You know what I'm saying? How long have people actually been using cannabis to enjoy life? It may be a lot longer than we're being led to believe. And I think that we have to really take a serious look at what the reasons for that could be, man. We're seeing a lot of the hate that went around to different organizations. We're seeing a lot of problems that happen. So, starting off slow, forgive me, gang. Yeah, that was it. We gotta really do a deep dive into how long this has been going on in the church. I think we'd be actually really surprised at some of the things we may find out. How long has people been using cannabis? How long? How long have we been ingesting cannabis? How long have we been using cannabis? Is cannabis something that we use for just recreation? Is there a spiritual component to this? If there's a spiritual component to it, have people discovered that already? Have people been talking about that for a long time? The answer to all those things is yes. And let's start with this lady, Sula Bennett, or Sarah Benetoa, also known as Sula Bennett, Sulabenet. According to her Wikipedia page, Sula Bennett was a Polish anthropologist of the 20th century who studied Polish and Judaic customs and traditions. So she studied what went on in the olden days, and some of her findings are really, really remarkable. But I'll just start off with her Wikipedia page, and we'll build from there. And I'm not saying everything is 1,000% accurate on Wikipedia. We'll use other corroborating sources, but I think this is a good place to start to kind of gear where I'm trying to take the conversation today. Yesterday we definitely did more of the legal side, and we may if we have time, cover some of the legal stuff today. But I want to look at more of the spiritual side of cannabis today. So born in Warsaw, then part of the Russian Empire, Bennett was fascinated with Polish peasant culture from her early youth. The interest eventually led her to enroll as a student of literature and philosophy in the Faculty of Humanities in the University of Warsaw. Graduating with a degree in anthropology in 1935. She then attended graduate school at Columbia University in the city of New York, NYC, shouts to her, where she received her doctorate in 1944. So this is not a lady that's gonna. So when we get to what she does, what she's discovered, understand that this is a woman who, graduated from the University of Warsaw in Warsaw, Poland, with a degree in anthropology. Anthropology, for those that don't know, that's the scientific study of humanity, with concern with human behavior, human biology, cultures, society, and linguistics, or languages, in both the past and present, including past human species. Social anthropology studies patterns of behavior, while cultural anthropology studies cultural trends. So she studies culture and human behavior and what humans have done over time and why. Then after that, she got her doctorate at Columbia University. Also at that time, she was first made known at a seminar in Warsaw, her theory that calamus in the Bible is actually hemp. That's right, calamus, calamus. When you see that word in the Bible, she proposes that that's actually the cannabis plant. Bennett died in New York in 1982. Now people gonna be like, what the fuck you talking about? Ain't no weed in the Bible. This lady proposes that there's weed being used all throughout the Bible. And if your pastor never told you that, your pastor is lying to you. That this, if they've never even tried to present you this possible theory, then they're lying to you, because they're not giving you all the information. They're not allowing you to make a completely aware choice with all of the information at your disposal. If you don't have all the information at your disposal, how can you make any type of informed decision? I don't think you can. I don't think you can at all. I don't think you can ever make an informed decision if you don't have all the information that you need So I think this is going to be a very fun episode. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to jump into some of this amazing information. But before we go though, Sula, let me just give you guys this. Actually, no, I'm sorry, gang. I need the spark. This is 420. We're going to do this right. I'm going to let the scammer up. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get into it, and y'all going to have your minds blown. Let's get there. Let's go. Yeah, gang. Let's get to it. So, my premise is that people have been using cannabis for a very long time, and people have been using cannabis in the Bible for a very long time. And this is not even my premise. Again, this is the premise of tons of people's works long before Phantom Fuego. You know what I'm saying? I'm just piggybacking off of the shoulders of intellectual fucking giants. Again, so we jumping into the wiki of Sarah Benatoa, also known as Sula Bennett. So to continue on, based on similar words and cognate languages or similar languages, Sanskrit, Sana, Assyrian, Kunabu, Persian, Kinab, and Arabic, Kanab, Bennett proposed that the biblical plant or spices kenna, which is in Ezekiel 29:17 and Isaiah 43:24 and several other places. The Songs of Solomon in 4:14, Kenna Hatab in Jeremiah 6:20, and Kenna Bassam in Exodus 30:23, which are usually translated as sweet calamus, a sweet cane, or sometimes they've also translated it as spice cane, or a spicy, a fragranty grass, were actually hemp. Cannabasum was an ingredient of the holy oil that was used to anoint kings. You understand? The holy oil that they used to anoint the kings in Judah, for those that, subscribe to such a thing, was described in Exodus 30 verses 22 to 25. Oh, why you talking about all this religious stuff for, Phantom Fuego? I need you guys to understand something. A lot of the stuff that is talked about in the Old Testament, what they call the Old Testament or the Torah, can actually be traced to true history. We just don't think about it like that because we think about it like just a religion. But if you look, archaeologically, if you look linguistically, if you look through the language, if you look anthropologically, and again, this lady's an anthropologist. She studies the cultures of people, their behavior patterns over time. And she studied the culture and behavior patterns of both ancient Poland and ancient Judah. And she found patterns in behavior. And she found commonalities in the languages and cultures of people. And she found commonalities in the behavior of the people. And using these commonalities, she proposes that the ancient Hebrews were using cannabis along with other peoples in the Bible. But we're just talking about the ancient Hebrews right now. So Bennett argued that in many ancient languages, including Hebrew, the root Kan, or Kan, had a double meaning, both hemp and reed, and that any error originated within the oldest Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, the Septuagint, in the 3rd century BC, where the terms kenna and cannabasum had been translated as sweet calamus. In the many Bible translations that followed, including Martin Luther's, this translation was repeated. Bennett further claimed that the Scythians, who were described by Herodotus as ritual hemp users during the 5th century BC, so around the year 400, were at least 1 millennium older than has been previously assumed. Sula Bennett, so who you trying to say the Scythians really were then? Madame Bennett. Sula Bennett's claim has found little support in the academic community among lexicographers and botanists. Okay. The standard reference lexicon of biblical Hebrew and reference works on Hebrew Bible plants by scholars such as the University of Jerusalem's Michael Zahari mentioned Bennett's suggestion, while I love how they put that first sentence there to try to make you assume that no one, when they say little support, and then they start off by saying that some have actually supported her theory while others don't. And that's generally how things go in academics. You're not going to have 100% consensus. But let's see if there's more. Let's see if there's more evidence that supports her theory. Because maybe she's crazy. Maybe she has no idea what she's talking about, right? Maybe she has no idea what she's talking about. So, there is a historian by the name of Graham Hancock. Does excellent work. Do I agree with everything he says? How can you agree with anything anyone says? But he does excellent work, revealing a lot of the alternative history of the Americas and the world at large. I highly recommend people check out his work. Graham, Graham, Hancock, Hancock. Super recommend his work. So there's another historian that is featured on Graham's website. This dude named Chris Bennett. Again, very good scholar, and has done a lot of amazing work in this field, piggybacking off of Sula Bennett's earlier work. And so on the Chris Bennett page of GrahamHancock.com, let's check this out. The article is called Biblical Cannabis. The discovery of cannabis residue on an ancient altar in Israel. What? An ancient altar in Israel? Yes, family. They discovered cannabis on an ancient altar in Israel. Matter of fact, before we even read what Chris Bennett has to say, let's look at that. Let's jump into the fact that cannabis was found on an altar in Jerusalem, quote unquote, from bbcnews.com. the world section / the Middle East. This is the article from May 29th of 2020. Cannabis burned during worship by ancient Israelites. A study has found ancient Israelites burned cannabis as a part of their religious rituals. An archaeological study has found a well-preserved substance found in a 27-year-old temple in Tel Arad has been identified as cannabis, including its psychoactive compound THC. Researchers concluded that the cannabis may have been burned in order to induce a high among the worshippers. Researchers concluded that cannabis may have been burned in order to induce a high among the worshippers. This is the first evidence of psychotropic drugs being used in early Jewish worship, Israeli media reported, though there are conflicting reports about that, because there are also a lot of research that ancient Hebrews may have also been using psilocybin or magic mushrooms. But I'll continue with the article. The temple was first discovered in the Negev desert south of Tel Aviv in the 1960s. In the latest study published in the Tel Aviv University's Archaeological Journal, archaeologists say 2 limestone altars had been buried within the shrine. Thanks in part to the dry climate and to the burial, the remains of burnt offerings were preserved on top of these altars. Frankincense was found on one altar, which was unsurprising because of its prominence in holy texts. The study authors told newspaper Haaretz, Haaretz. Of course, you're going to find frankincense there because, come on, they've been using frankincense, you know what I mean? When they since the beginning of time in these, since they've invented frankincense. However, THC or tetrahydrocannabinol, CBD, and cannabidiol, all compounds found in cannabis, were found on the second altar. The study adds that the findings in Tel Arad suggest that cannabis also played a role in the worship at the Temple of Jerusalem. This is because at the time the shrine in Arad was part of a hilltop fortress at the southern frontier of the Kingdom of Judah, and is said to match a scaled down version of biblical descriptions of the first temple in Jerusalem. So if they were using it at the Temple of Tel Arad, they had to be using it at the Temple of Jerusalem based on their studies. The remains of the Temple of Jerusalem are now inaccessible to archaeologists, of course. So instead, they study Arad and other similar shrines to help them understand worship at the larger temple. But once they start studying the Temple of Jerusalem, what are they going to find? Are they going to find more cannabis use? They going to find hashish? They going to find shrooms? Don't keep the secrets a secret. Let people know. Unearth the truth. Unearth the goddamn truth. Unearth the damn truth. I had never heard that, Phantom. They didn't find no. What you talking about? Okay, Smithsonian Mag. If the BBC wasn't good enough for you, Smithsonian Magazine, my nigga. Archaeologists identified traces of burnt cannabis in an ancient Jewish shrine. New research suggests the mind-altering substance may have been widely used in ritual practices of the Kingdom of Judah. Article by Alex Fox from June 4th of 2020. Roughly 35 miles south of Jerusalem, in an archaeological site in the Negev desert known as Tel Arad, archaeologists excavating an ancient Jewish shrine have found traces of burnt cannabis, burnt cannabis, burnt cannabis, burnt cannabis, not burnt calamus, not burnt kalamazoo, not no burnt grass, not no scented reed, burnt cannabis and frankincense on a pair of limestone altars, reports Christian Rogers of CNN. The new research published last week in the Journal of Tel Aviv. The Journal of Tel Aviv provides the first evidence that the mind-altering substance was part of religious life in the ancient kingdom of Judah. Tel Arad contains the remains of a Canaanite city from 3rd millennia BC, as well as Israelite fortresses from between 10th and 6th centuries BC, because the Canaanites got their butts whooped and the Israelites took their land. Let's talk about it. Excavations in the 1960s identified a pair of citadels that guarded the southern border of the kingdom of Judah at the time. And again, I know, guys, most of us think about this stuff as just fairy tales and stories in a book, but this stuff was actual history that really happened to groups of people, and we don't talk about it like that. We talk about it like these things were just some stories, but no, these were real people who really experienced real life, including smoking on some real zadada. You know what I'm saying? Excavations into the 1960s identified a pair of citadels that guarded the southern border of the kingdom of Judah during that time, as well as a well-preserved shrine dated to roughly 760 to 715 BC, according to a statement from the researchers. It is within the shrine that the two stone altars were discovered with the remains of what appeared to be burnt plant material. They was burning the zarat. The stone altars were found at the entrance of the shrine's inner sanctum, known as the Holy of Holies, the place that you go inside to talk with the Most High. So you telling me in the sanctum, in the inner sanctum, where they go talk to the Most High, and you would see the smoke coming up out their tent? That's where they found cannabis. So what the fuck was in the smoke? Pass the dutchie on the left hand side. Pass the dutchie on the left hand side. I get so high, fuck around and never come down. So high, most high. Travis, you going to hell. San Fuego, you going to hell. Cut it out. The chemical analysis conducted by researchers helps provide a window into the rituals and spiritual life of the Judahites. It is the first time that cannabis has been identified in the ancient Near East. Its use in the shrine must have played a central role in the cultural rituals performed there, says Aaron Ari, an archaeologist with the Israel Museum in Jerusalem and lead author of the new research. The shrine is also contemporaneous with the first Jewish temple in Jerusalem. Contemporaneous means contemporary, meaning this shrine was up and active around the same time as the first temple in Jerusalem, suggesting similar ritual practices may have taken place at the biblical house of worship, per Jan Ben Zion for the Associated Press. The shrine at Tel Arad also bears a close resemblance to the first temple. So is the shrine at Tel Arad really the first temple and no one wants to say it because they found weed there? I get so high, fuck around and never come down. prior analysis of the dark, burnt-looking spots on the altars discovered in the Telluride shrine conducted in the late 1960s have been inconclusive as to their origins, reports Bruce Bauer for Science News. The new research applied modern chemical analysis techniques to the residue on each of the two altars. The smaller of the two altars was found to have a mixture of animal dung and cannabis that contained sufficient THC to get those breathing in its fumes high. Per Science News. The residue on the larger altar was composed of animal fats and frankincense, the dried sap of trees, and the Boswellia genus. So Boswellia trees from the Boswellia family of trees. According to the paper. Did they use that for rolling papers? Nah, stop. Phantom, you're going too far. You're going too far. The researchers write that the dung and animal fats were used to burn the cannabis and frankincense at temperatures that would release their respective mind-altering and fragrant smoke. Oh, so they burnt the cannabis with the animal dung to make it like slow burn? You like the way you French inhale, ooh, French inhale. And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to nobody's religious beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people that think, smoking cannabis is an abomination against their religion. Listen, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But you got to deal with the scientific evidence. This is the Smithsonian Magazine. They're only reporting this because the University of Tel Aviv reported this. Science News reported this. The Associated Press is reporting this. This was done by researchers at universities using chemical analysis at the excavated site. They know what they're doing, guys. Article continues. What stands out to me is that the cannabis was used in concert with frankincense rather than being mixed with the frankincense or other identifiable plant products. So they were burning the frankincense and they was burning the za at the same time, but they were trying to keep the smell down. Yo, we've been doing this a long time. We try to keep that loud from being so loud. You know what I'm saying? That loud pack be busting. Smelling like Maz over there. What he doing? He praying or he chilling? Robin Z. Clark, an independent ethnobotanical researcher who was not part of the study, tells CNN. This implies that there were special independent connotations assigned to the use of each plant substance. So, right, they used them in conjunction, but they didn't mix them. Besides the potential incorporation of altered states of consciousness to worship, the findings also have implications for the understanding of trade routes at the time. Ari tells Science News that the cannabis was likely grown somewhere in southeastern Russia or China, and Robert Spangler, an archaeobotanist at the Max Planck Institute who was not involved in the study, suggests information about cannabis use spread west from Asia along the Silk Road. Shout out to Alex Fox and the Smithsonian Magazine for this amazing article. Alex Fox, freelance science journalist based in Washington, has written for Science, Nature, Science News, San Jose Mercury News, and the Manga Bay. You can find him at alexfoxscience.com. On that note, gang, we're gonna take a quick break because I know that messed a few people's heads up. I know. Eran Ari is the author of the study, ERANARIE. The psychotropic samples were found on the 2 limestone altars. Crazy gang. Crazy gang. We're gonna take a quick break. It's your boy Phantom Fuego. We just digging in. We're talking about the spiritual side of cannabis today and how we've been using the cannabis to help us as a people be more spiritually enlightened for a long time. We'll be back. Gang, we back. We are back. Keep hitting that reefer, sending me straight to heaven. Keep hitting that reefer, sending me straight to heaven. Keep hitting that reefer, sending me straight to heaven. Keep hitting that rolling, smoking and choking. Buddha love us. Hey. Gotta learn to smoke the Buddha. Thought that classic Bone Thugs would be a nice way to start up this section. And one more real quick. Higher, baby. Can you feel it? Alright. Do you feel the same way I feel them so high? Reefer make me feeling alright. Roll, let's smoke. I got to get high. Been feeling the last song off that la. And I just been smoking. Smoke another blunt, roll another up. You know that we don't really ease your mind. Every time I smoke a reefer, and don't make me fly. And everybody smoke the blunt, the free leave my mind, but where to be a better place. For everybody, I can't do this like the Bone Thugs do it. Crazy Bone has an insane flow. If everybody smoke the blunt, the free mind, where to be a better place. If everybody take a break, we all just get wasted. Toked out, smoked out, choked out, but another wow. Let's get POD'd it. The weed can't get no better. No better, baby. $20 hollers all day, every day. Come around my way, you gon' want to stay. Weed makes me hungry, happy, and all I can say is sure I need some more. Don't make me wait, stay awake, fake sleep. Get the weed between the sheets, catch me. Mary J, bless me. Open up the dime, stimulate your mind. Slap my thumb with the blunt. Slap my thumb up the blunt, open up and what you find now. Do you really want to know? I never been in high times, never been in high times. I never been in high times, but can you tell me that I've been so high? Am I high enough? Oh, I can't date it, man. Shout out to the Bone Thugs, first of all. First to fuck off. Niggas had like 8 verses in the same song, bro. You couldn't tell them they wasn't killing it, man. Wasn't fucking killing it, man. Can't tell me they wasn't feeling it, man. Mary J, bless me. The weed can't get no better. No better, baby. Yo. Shit just make you feel good, man. So, yo, we gonna continue on, right? So, the Graham Hancock stuff, right? So we on grahamhancock.com and we're getting a little bit of Chris Bennett. The article is insanely long, so I'm just gonna hit a piece of the article. And he's building off the work again of Sula Bennett, in addition to other amazing scholars, right? So Kenna Bossum, Kaneh Bosm, Cannabis in the Bible? Question mark. Again, grahamhancock.com/Bennett C2 is where you can find this whole huge research paper. Prophets practiced ecstasy states and may have used incense and narcotics to produce impressive effects. The Israelite prophets acted as mediums in a state of trance or frenzy. They related their divine visions in a sing-song chant, at times a scream. These states could be induced by music, but the prophets also used and sometimes abused incense, narcotics, and alcohol. This is Paul Johnson, A History of the Jews. Again, I'm going to read that again. Prophets practice ecstasy states and may have used incense and narcotics to produce impressive effects. The Israelite prophets acted as mediums in a state of trance or frenzy. They related their divine visions in a sing-song chant, at times a scream. These states could be induced by music, but the prophets also used and sometimes abused incense, narcotics, and alcohol. Paul Johnson, A History of the Jews. So that was just a quote. The idea that the Old Testament prophets may have been using psychoactive substances in order to attain a shamanic trance in which the revelations of the Most High could be revealed is troubling for modern-day believers, as Darwin's theory of evolution was to their 19th century counterparts. Just as Darwin's theory of evolution challenged the myth of creation from the book of Genesis, this entheogenic origin for the Jewish religion indicates a scientifically and anthropologically based theory on the origins of the Bible itself through shamanism and psychoactive plants. As Professor George Luck has noted in The Idea, that Moses himself and the priests who succeeded him relied on chemical aids in order to touch with the Lord must be disturbing and repugnant to many. That's only the people who feel this need for everything to be so pure and pristine. But when it's been taught to you that way, I guess it would completely shake your core if it didn't stay such a way. But anybody who's had any real experience with cannabis, with any other psychoactive, with shrooms, you know that those things can take you into those type of experiences. So this wouldn't be hard for you to understand at all. It seems to degrade religion, and any religion, when one associates it with shamanic practices. Why does that degrade religion? Luck experienced these reactions himself when his decades of research into magic rites in the ancient world drew him to such a hypothesis. When I was doing research on psychoactive substances used in magic and religion, and magic and antiquity in ancient history, I happened to come across chapter 30 in the book of Exodus, where Moses prescribes the composition of sacred incense and anointing oil. It occurred to me, judging from the ingredients, that these substances might act as entheogens, the incense more powerful than the oil. Entheogens. What is an entheogen? For those who are not aware, myself included, an entheogen is a psychoactive substance, usually one derived from plants or fungi, but also from secretions of animal fats, of animals such as toads, that is ingested by a shaman or another participant in a ritual in order to produce visions or gain mystical insight. A psychoactive substance used for the purpose of inducing a mystical or spiritual experience. So an entheogen, entheogen, We learning shit today, family. Oh, we learning shit today, family. Sheesh. All right, so Professor Luck pointed that to the alleged mild psychoactive effects of myrrh and particularly frankincense, as had been suggested by a number of recent studies. Uh, Frankincense contains trihydrocannabinol. See, I didn't know that, which is similar in molecular structure to tetrahydrocannabinol, the psychoactive compound in cannabis. Them old pastors be getting you high in church, man, when they be rolling around with all that incense, man. Sheesh. It's been suggested that even the modern church rituals, the mild mood elevating effects of this, may help create a religious state of mind in parishioners close enough to inhale its effects. Wow. I can't tell you how many times I've been close enough inhaling incense in the church. Crazy. Frankincense and all that. Crazy. However, this alleged effect has been hard to reproduce in any notable way under clinical conditions. Luck noted this, explaining that no two kinds of frankincense have exactly the same effect. There are many varieties coming from different regions along the ancient incense route, and some of the more potent ones may not be available anymore. The blends used in churches today seem rather mild, if they can be called quote-unquote psychoactive at all. This is crazy, guys. What Luck and Johnson both seem to have been unaware of in their comments about the shamanic nature of the Israeli prophets. They're not Israeli, they'd be more Israelite or Hebrew. I'd say Hebrew. In the name of the Hebrew prophets and their potential use of psychoactive substances is the evidence indicating a role of cannabis amongst the ancient Hebrews in this exact context. Or ancient Jews is what they'd like to use here, quote unquote. Although there have been a variety of suggestions regarding references to cannabis in scripture, which I have explored elsewhere, the most convincing evidence for cannabis in the Bible comes from Polish anthropologist Sula Bennett's etymological. So she broke down the words, the etymology, the origin of the words, the etymological investigations into the Hebrew word cannabis. In her essays, Tracing One World Through Different Languages and Early Diffusions and Folk Uses of Hemp, Bennett demonstrated that the Hebrew terms canna and cannabasum, translated canna, Q-A-N-E-H hyphen, and cannabasum, Q-A-N-E-H-B-O-S-M, identified cannabis by tracing the modern term back through history. Noting the similarities with the later Mishnah term for cannabis, cannabos, K-A-N-A-B-O-S, as well as comparing it to the ancient Assyrian word Kunabu, also translated Kunobu, Q-U-N-U-B-U, or K-U-N-U-B-U, which has been long regarded as identifying cannabis, and which was used in an almost identical ritual context as cannabasum was by the ancient Hebrews. The root canna in this construction means cane, reed, hemp, or while balsam means aromatic. The word appeared in Exodus 30:23, whereas in the Song of Songs 4:14, Isaiah 43:24, Jeremiah 6:20, Ezekiel 27:19. Damn, they was writing about weed a lot in the Bible, and the term canna is used without the adjunct balsam. As Sula Bennett has explained, the word cannabasum was later mistranslated to calamus, a common marsh plant with little monetary value that does not have the qualities or value ascribed to cannabasum. This error occurred in the oldest of Greek translations of Hebrew text, the Septuagint, in 3rd century BC, and then is repeated later and later. Repeatedly, man. Mm-mm-mm. This is crazy. I mean, this is a lot of work. Just a lot of really good work in here. I'll give you guys one more hit of this noted report. Noted cannabinoid researcher and historian Dr. Ethan Russo also notes, I think that it is absolutely clear that cannabis was in the Holy Land. We have archaeological proof dated to the 4th century AD. There was this carbonized fragments of cannabis that was found in a cave at Bet Shemesh in Israel. Additionally, I firmly believe that cannabasum in the Hebrews was cannabis, so I am absolutely convinced that it was there. So cannabis was found in cave at Bet Shemesh in Israel. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, this is getting crazy. Additionally, I believe that the cannabasum, it is mentioned in Exodus, cannabasum was part of the holy oil, also used in incense, and it really makes sense. Also, Ruck and co-authors as have noted, the Russo and co-authors have noted, the term occurs in the Song of Songs as it grows in an orchard of exotic fruits, herbs, and spices. Occurs in Isaiah 43:24. Yeah, man, this conclusion has since been affirmed by other scholars. It is ironic that calamus sweet flag, the substitute for the alleged cannabis, is itself a known hallucinogenic for which TMA2 is derived. Interesting. Very interesting read, man. This is an extremely interesting read. I would highly recommend people check this out. 1,000% check this out. We're gonna take another quick break, gang, and we're gonna tap in some more. Oh, but before I do that, I'd like to just throw this last quote in there. Now, what is the world going to say when they find out that some centuries after this ancient Jewish use, it would appear that Christians were using cannabis for a miraculous healing properties as well as entheogenic initiation rituals? Jesus took the restricted use of cannabis from the priests and kings and brought it to the people. Jesus was a cannabis activist. Oh, y'all really trying to start problems. Y'all are really trying to start problems. This is trying to start some problems. Gang, we'll be right back. Excuse me while I light my spliff. Good God, I gotta take a lift. From reality, I just can't drift. That's why I'm staying in this riff. Take it easy. Taking it slow. Take it easy. Hey. Taking it slow. Easy skanking. Hey. Taking it slow. Take it easy, man. Taking it slow. Yeah. First thing, wake up out of dreamer, Grab a lighter, huh? Something I can steam her, huh? Bong ripper, huh? Make sure it's cleaner, huh? Smoke session, huh? Nigga, what you need, huh? In my car, huh? Cruising down the street, huh? So stoned, I'ma need something to eat, huh? No tray, huh? Ashes on my seat, huh? Tied up, huh? Tailors on my feet, huh? Cloud nana, huh? Going through my mind, huh? Take a toker, huh? Hold it till you choke, huh? Moving forward, huh? Cruising on my border, huh? Still got more, huh? Burn it till my sport, huh? And I be rolling. I get so high, fuck around and never come down. So high, I get so high, and I be flowing. I get so high, fuck around and never come down. So high, so high. High up and we're flowing, don't know where we're going. Night into the morning, flowing, flowing, flowing. And tell a nigga use a grinder for that weed, huh? And tell him roll another joint or fall asleep, huh? Smoke a piece, huh? Pipe up like a chief, huh? Heard you got the cheaper price for that reefer, huh? What you need, huh? Never find a C, Take a dab, straight THC, For the highest in the room, look at me, Somewhere in the closet's where I wanna be, Got you shook, not just for the look, Half the day, roll a whole book, Drive slower, blow it by the O, Eyes lower, Everybody know, yeah, I be rolling. I get so high, fuck around and never come down. So high, so high. I get so high, fuck around and never come down. Don't know where we're going. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Shout to these amazing artists who have all contributed. But let me know what your favorite song is. Hit me up, hisghettopointofview@gmail.com, hisghettopointofview@gmail.com, HGPOV show on Instagram, HGPOV podcast. Let me know what your favorite cannabis joint is. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your favorite cannabis joint is, hit me up and let me know, man. This has definitely been a dope ride, man. Learning a lot. It's mind-blowing. But one thing I wanted to take a look at it before we got up out of here, there were even whole churches that based their entire church service in more recent history around the use of cannabis. There's even like churches in LA right now where they literally smoke during the service. But one of the most notable ones that for better or worse will live in infamy is Brother Love in the Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church. Just take a little bit excerpt from the wiki page. Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church is a movement born in Jamaica in the 1950s by the disciples of Marcus Garvey and was incorporated in Florida in 1975. It first established its organization in the United States in Star Island, Florida, with a commune of 40 members. The commune followed a combination of teachings from the Bible's Old and New Testament, Billy Graham's fundamentals, and kosher law. The movement understands and confirms that it is based on the teachings of Marcus Garvey and that they use cannabis as sacrament. It is misconception that pious Rastafarians smoke recreationally, and some in particular do not use at all. However, many Rastafarian teachers have advocated for controlled ritual smoking of wisdom cannabis or wisdom weed in private as a meditation tool and communally from chalice pipes as incense to please the Lord. As incense to please the Lord. Incense. Yeah, we've heard that in these research and this. And so, come on, man. In 1979, the group was accused, tried, and convicted of smuggling massive amounts of potent cannabis from Jamaica to Miami, in actions that kept the Jamaica economy afloat that decade. The then Jamaican Prime Minister Edward Sega told a U.S. interview it was just a little sensimilia that it kept the country going right now. And he's not lying. Like, cannabis was the major export, and the Coptic Church was really kind of the funders of Jamaica at the time. They were helping build the schools up, build up the roads, take care of people's bills, because there really wasn't many other major exports going out of Jamaica at the time but cannabis. So, the Prime Minister of Jamaica is like, what is he going to do? He's not going to let them sell the cannabis that they were making at the church when it was helping the people so much. The Coptics published a free newspaper promoting Garveyism and the decriminalization of cannabis, titled Coptic Times. They also appeared on 60 Minutes in October 28, 1979. The group's leader was Thomas Riley, also known as Brother Love. So yes, this laid back, chilled out white boy, following the teachings of Marcus Garvey and the Zion Church, created the Zion Church, and with a combination again of you can't make this up, man, using the Bible, Marcus Garvey's teachings, Billy Graham's fundamentalism, the kosher law, and very much their own form of Rastafarianism. So it was crazy. They even had the kids smoking cannabis, man. Like, if you ever watch the old documentaries on Brother Love and the Coptic Church, they got the kids smoking weed, pregnant ladies smoking weed, and it's like, hey, everybody's cool. There's no problems. Everybody chilling, just loving, and they just preach love, 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 love. So during the same year, the Supreme Court of Florida found that one, the Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church represents a religion within the First Amendment, and two, the use of cannabis is an essential portion of their religious practice. Further, the Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church is not a new church, but reflects its centuries old and regularly use cannabis as a sacrament. Oh, but the record reflects it is centuries old and has regularly used cannabis as a sacrament. Oh, wow. So they got the church in Florida to concede that cannabis was used as a sacrament for centuries. The Supreme Court in Florida seceded this in their court case, guys. This is insane. The Supreme Court in Florida found that the Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church was not a new church, that they were just continuing on in the traditions of ancient Hebrews, and that cannabis has been used as a sacrament for centuries. Centuries. In 1986, the organization participated in the DEA's hearing on cannabis rescheduling in the United States. On January 9, 2017, a member of the group was pardoned and released from prison by Barack Obama before he left office of President of the United States. That was nice of you. Tranmer had received 33 years prison sentence for possession of cannabis because he defended the sacramentality and goodness of cannabis without repentance. Why would he repent if he really feels it's a sacrament? How could he repent? He'd be going against his religion to speak against it. Today, many are grateful for his sacrifice, and his release is an acknowledgement in the paradigm change that has taken place since the majority of the population now see to fight against a medical plant is detrimental society. Is a detrimental societal policy. It's bad for society to keep accusing this plant of being anything but good. Olson ran for governor in Iowa as a libertarian. He is currently priest in the Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church and resides in Iowa. The Ethiopian Zion Coptic Church is not associated with either the Coptic Orthodox Church or Coptic Catholic Church, both based in Egypt. The Coptic Orthodox Church has an Ethiopian sister church, which is also unrelated. The Garveyite Coptic were also closely tied to the African Orthodox Church. Okay, this is nothing about that. Yeah, man. So the Florida Supreme Court ruled that cannabis has been used as a sacrament for centuries. The Florida Supreme Court. What are we talking about? Hugh versus Reddington. Town versus state is the trial. Yeah, town versus state is the trial. Florida, 1979. This is real case law, man. This is case law. Like, what are you gonna do? It's case law. What are you gonna do? When it's case law, it's case law, man. There's really not much you can argue when it's case law. I mean, that's really interesting. I had no idea that happened, but yeah, I mean, this is very interesting, guys. We've learned so much today. Thank you guys for rocking and vibing. I super appreciate you vibing with me. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with me, and I super appreciate it. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed today's presentations. 2 for the price of 1. Where can you get that? How can you beat it? It's your boy Phantom Fuego. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your 420. Light it up, roll it up, pass it. Enjoy in love, enjoy in harmony, enjoy the spirituality, enjoy the healing nature. Enjoy it just because you like to vibe and smoke and chill and put your music up. However you like to enjoy your cannabis in a cookie, in a cake, in a cupcake, in a tincture, in some trippy juice. However you like to enjoy your cannabis, or if you are a cancer patient and you're using it to calm yourself and heal yourself so you can eat again. If you're a small child, using it to get over the tremors of seizures. However you're using cannabis, know that you are a part of a huge community. Know that you're loved. Know that we family. Much love to the tribe. It's your boy Phantom Fuego. See you Sunday. We out.